Hey, besties. Thank you for tuning in to a Vibe Called Blessed podcast where we turn up for Jesus and celebrate in our confidence. Thank you for listening. Hey, besties. So, I've been going to this church out in the great city of Charlotte, North Carolina, going to Half Life Church with with the pastor, Dr. Show. And he touched a little bit on Sunday about unforgiveness. That wasn't his whole message, but he definitely touched on it. And he had to, I didn't catch it then. It hit, but it really hit today. And he had to remind the people that unforgiveness is not for the other person. And this is something that you know, but until you realize that you have unforgiveness in your heart or you're still dealing with it, because sometimes you don't even think that you're trying to figure out the emotion of what it is that you feel towards a person, and you're like, it doesn't feel like it's anger, it doesn't feel like it's resent, it doesn't feel like that, and it's unforgiveness. It's unforgiveness. You trying to dance around what it is that's going on, and it's unforgiveness. And today God had to remind me, remind me that you have unforgiveness in your heart. It just sprung up in a different form with a different person because this person hurt you. And not hurt me in like a physical way or anything like that, but I had to recognize the type of hurt that it was that I felt like they let me down, so that hurt me, and I could not let that go. And that's where I was lashing out, being disassociated in my emotions and everything because I had unforgiveness, and I didn't recognize what it was, and I couldn't identify it. And maybe a part of me didn't want to believe that that's what it was, and that maybe a part of it was really I didn't want to let it go. And God had to remind me, regardless of if they change or not, regardless of, and this is what the pastor said, but again, it hit, but it really hit harder today. What God said, even if they never change, you have voiced your opinion. You have voiced your opinion. You have said your words. Even if they don't change, I'm concerned about your heart. I'm concerned about your mind. I'm concerned about about the seed that is planted, that is growing, that is going on with you, and how it is affecting you. You can't sit there and ask me to forgive you for anything. That's what you better read your word. If you can't forgive them, God gonna match the energy. And I had to be transparent with myself, and I had to honestly really cry because I'm faced with something that I have experienced before, and I had to remind that this is not an unfamiliar feeling. This is not an unfamiliar place, but I'm experiencing again with a whole different person. This ain't nothing but the enemy. Oh, you say you good at forgiveness. Okay, here we go. Here's this spirit in operation. But it looks differently. And I had to remind myself, even if I forgive, doesn't mean that I forget. But it's for me. Even if they don't change, it's for me. I have to have peace within myself to understand, you know what? This is where they are in life, and I can't change them. I can sit there and try to be a certain type of way with my words or my actions or uh, any type of way, but they have shown me that's where they are. And I have to remember, me forgiving doesn't make it okay. But I have to put me first. because this is not me. It's almost like an outer body experience of like, why am I feeling like this is not the type of life that I live? This is not the type of thoughts that I want to have. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel anxious or upset or angry, or I don't want to feel like that. There's a way to convey your emotions to a person to understand, to not play with you and not come off cold and mean and angry, but just understand that, like, please know that I am going to put me first amongst anything else. If you are disrupting my peace, disrupting my, the peace is number one. Because when your mind is clouded, you cannot tell me that you can effectively hear from God. You can effectively pray. You can effectively, some people are different. Some people can turn this on and off, but you better check and see what spirit is in operation. But it really hit harder. And I realized that, one, this ain't going to be an overnight thing. But at least I have to understand that I have areas that I still need to grow in. And the last thing that I want is to sit there and to have that planted in my heart, and the seed continues to plant and grow, because ain't nothing else going to be moving in my life because of this. You want this, but what about this? You haven't freed yourself from this. This is tormenting you, and you don't even know it. You have allowed the enemy to come in, and you didn't even recognize it. It's a hard pill. Forgiveness. I thought there was a lot of things that would be hard to let go of, or to deal with, or to face. Unforgiveness is on a whole nother level. But it's not about them. And it's very clear. It's not that you forget. You're going to forget. It's not making it seem like it's okay. It is something that you have to do for yourself so that you can get through your healing process and your healing journey. No matter where that person is in their life, they got to take that up with God. They may not ever see in life how they have wrong. Let me tell you, there was someone I used to be in a relationship with years ago. It took years. And we finally, when we had a conversation, not one time during the breakup or the years apart or something like that, it took years for them to finally say, you know what? I'm sorry for the way that I treated you, for the things that, like, years. And I had to realize that in them years before they even said those words, I had to find a way to have forgiveness in my heart towards them. And so once I forgave them, again, still years, they never admitted any wrongdoing. So it was like I had already got the pre-closure before they could even say a word to me. But it was just confirmation that, you know what, God, thank you. Because sometimes you wonder, do people recognize how they have hurt you, how they have did this and did that? And a lot of times they don't want to admit it. They don't want it because wherever their mindset was at that time, they felt like they were doing right. They didn't see that it was anything wrong. They were operating out of their own selfishness, out of their own flesh. And that's where they were. But it didn't make it right. And it didn't mean that I had to accept it or anything like that. But I had to have forgiveness in my heart. Because one, God has allowed me to walk away from that situation, allowed me to heal, allowed me to grow. And I'm not that same person no more. And I thank Him for that. So, of course, as you progress in life, you are going to face things that may not necessarily remind you of your past, but is in a very familiar place that you have been in before. But if you came out of it before, you're going to come out of it now. It just looks differently. You're now older, you're now wiser, you have a lot more experience. It's completely different. But how it exposes itself and masks it is so different. I would have never guessed. And it's so interesting. I had years ago, there was when I was going to therapy, my therapist would say everybody needs an emotion, this emotion wheel, because on this wheel of emotion, right, it's different because emotions go beyond anger, sadness, happiness. It's in depth. And she says, when you're sitting there and you're trying to understand what it is that you're feeling, look at that emotion wheel and then start from what you thought. Is it anger? Oh, it's not anger. Oh, it's not this. Oh, it's regret. Oh, it's this. Oh, that speaks to more. You're trying to understand of what it is, because that's what it is. So now you know what to go before God and say, God, I thought I had fear, but I'm really frustrated. I thought it was this, but it's really this. How did I allow this emotion to get in? But now that it has a name and I can call it out, now I need to figure out how I can get free from this. I don't like this feeling. But when I tell you, I love Him. I love God. And I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. I know in order to move forward and get farther in my life, further in my spirituality with God, and grow, there's the barriers that have to be torn down. I have a choice, right? I can live in ignorance and bliss. I can stay in the same space that I'm in, but what is it? What good is it doing me? And I'm telling you, once you recognize what's going on, it puts life into a different perspective. I say, okay, God, to speak the words out loud, I have unforgiveness. And that's what it is. And the reason I have the unforgiveness is for this reason. Okay, now the healing process can begin. Now God is like, all right, I need you to release that and understand that I'm stepping into this situation and allow me to work. I'm not saying that the other person in on the other end can't change or won't change, but you'll never see the outcome of God's hand working if you are, how do I say, you're just holding on and staying in the same mindset. And the thing is, you're leaving yourself stagnant. This person is living their life. They're living their life. They don't even, again, they don't even understand to the fullest extent of what it is that is going on. They may sit there and express, they may apologize, but then if it's a repeat pattern, again, you get to see. I will never, ever, ever forget. Oh goodness, Iyanla Vanzant. She had said one time, she says, "I get to see how a person chooses to love me, and I get to decide whether or not I want to accept that." What? Excuse me? We are sitting here. She says, at some point, you get tired of trying to explain yourself. At some point, you have to recognize, at some point, you got to let people go, even if it hurts. Because the place that you're trying to go, or the place that you're trying to be in, or the things that you're trying to do, everybody is not meant to go with you. Everybody is not going to go. And that is hard sometimes when you want that. But people will show you numerous times of this is where I'm at. It ain't something, and now it's this tug of war of whose side is gonna win, right? Who's gonna win, and you want it to be your viewpoint and your vision and all of that, and that person is like, I'm not budging, I'm not moving. So you're in this tug of war, and it's not supposed to be like that. The world is already in enough of a limbo of a tug of war between righteous and evil, and so much other mess. Why would you want that in your personal life, your mind, your heart, your spirit? Why would you want that? So some things you have to let go and allow them. And it's not even about, if they say, if you love something, to let it go. And if it comes back, it's meant to be. Sometimes it doesn't matter if it's going to come back. It doesn't matter. This is about you and what it is that you deserve. I know that I deserve to be happy. I know that I deserve to have peace. I know that I'm deserving of love, godly love that he puts his stamp of approval on. I know that I am deserving of not worldly joy, but the joy that only gets so many things that God has conditioned for me. I can't control nobody else. I can't make them see the way that I see things. I can tell them how they hurt me, but if they ain't gonna willing to change, or it's nothing, it's gonna be the same. Whose fault is it now on? It's on me, right? I really hope that there was something that I said during this podcast episode that just kind of helped you, to make you to think of what emotions or feelings or things that I'm seeing, that I'm dealing with, that I'm battling with internally. What is holding me back from my next? What is holding me back from getting to the next place in life? What is some things, again, that I'm holding on to? I'm grasping at straws, and I'm leaving a glimmer of hope. And God is like, I'm not blessing no mess. I'm not stepping into this because it's not my will. It's not my will for you. We got some things that we need to fix and we need to clean up. And then we can move on to the next step. But it doesn't seem that you're ready to let that go. I had to get to a place to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and get comfortable that some things are going to hurt me. But it's never God's intention to intentionally hurt me. But he had to allow me to understand that some things you just have to let go of, because it doesn't benefit you. It is stunting your growth. He didn't give you vision for no reason. So it's like you want to stay in this regular loophole, this cycle over and over again, or do you want to be free and elevate and in a different place? The choice is yours. You have free will to choose a life that you decide to live. But don't be surprised if you feel like God is distant from you. Or he's is he listening? Is he hearing? He ain't moving. Is this? He gives you free will. You can do whatever it is that you desire in your heart and you feel like that is right for you. But don't be surprised when it's like, wow, I'm stunting my own growth. I'm stunting my own blessing. I'm stunting this, I'm on that because I won't let go of certain things in areas, or I want to stay in the same mindset, or I want to stay small when God is trying to tell me that I'm big, or I'm moving out of comparison. This was a healing session for me, besties. And I thank you so much for tuning in and listening in on the podcast. Please do not be afraid to share this episode with someone else you may feel needs to hear this. And until next time.